Ready. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Dharma service in person and on Zoom. For those of you joining us for the first time, a special welcome. We will now begin our service with a ringing of the kancho, followed by the chanting of Jusege.
Innikie 三苦名交際集約難会一へ言飯根もあ閉塞所悪道通断伝宗門高祖上万読いよろ実法日願主樹記天候音符芸一種解放像公正徳法上大集中説法ししく供養一切部具足種特法元年信条万得意三害よ女仏無下地九段未不詳感学営利公私最小尊志願や国家大戦を感動国書店に公珍妙慶ナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブがにしくどく明道聖祭道本も大心往生ナマンダーツナマンダーツナマンダーツナマンダーツナマンダーツナマンダーツナマンダーツ。
We will now hear a Dharma message from Reverend Umezu. Oh, excuse me. We will now have the reading of Three Treasures, followed by Sankyemon.
Three treasures. Hard is it to receive a human form. Now we have received it. Difficult is it to hear the Buddha Dharma. Now we hear it. If we do not receive awakening in this life, in what life shall we do so? Let us reverently take refuge together in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. Together with all beings, may we attain the great way of enlightenment, awakening to the supreme intent of the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. Together with all beings, may we enter the storehouse of Dharma, acquiring wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. Together with all beings, may we become united at the great assembly, being free of all bondage. Hard is it to encounter the supreme, profound, and wondrous Dharma, even in 100,000 million kalpa. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true intent of the Tathagata. Sankyemon. Ninjin ukegatashi imasure ni uku. Buppo kikigatashi imasure ni kiku. 好み根性に向かってどせずんば、さらにいずれの章に向かってか好みをどせん。大衆もろともに指針に参謀に消えし、立てまつるべし。自ら仏に消えし、立てまつる。まさに願わくは衆生とともに、大道を体現して無常用こさん。自ら法に消えし、立てまつる。まさに願わくは衆生とともに、各教蔵に入りて知恵海のごとくならん。自ら僧に消えし立てまつる。まさに願わくは衆生とともに、大衆を通りして一切無限ならん。無常人人未明の方は、百千万号にもあようことかたし、我今検問し受理することをたり、願わくは如来の真実義を下し立てまつらん。ナマンダプツ、ナマンダプツ、ナマンダプツ、ナマンダプツ、ナマンダプツ、ナマンダプツ、ナマンダプツ、ナマンダプツ。
We will now hear a Dharma message from Reverend Umezu.
Please join me with your palms together as I read words written by Venerable Shinran. Because they are in reverence and greatly rejoice in the Dharma, people who realize Shinjin of other power are my true companions. Such is the praise of the world-honored one, master of the teaching. Namandao, namandao, namandao. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well today. Thank you very much to everyone here at the temple joining us today to listen to the Dharma, and welcome to everybody out on Zoom. If anyone is new today joining us, then very special welcome to you for joining us today. The passage that I have read is a poem written by Venerable Shinran and is found in his collection of poems on the three Dharma eras. This poem is based on a famous sentiment expressed by Shakyamuni Buddha, in which Shakyamuni Buddha says, that those who joyfully live with the Dharma as the guiding light in their lives are his foremost followers and good friends. I hope that most of us, if not all of us, can say that we have had friends in our lives, whether from school, work, interest group, or family friend. I hope that we can all say that we've had, friends. And I hope that we can say that we've had a good friend at some point in our lives. So, what does it mean to you to have a good friend? In our everyday lives, I would guess that for many of us, a good friend means to have someone that we can have a good time with, or maybe someone that we can share a good conversation with. Maybe it's someone who will listen to us, or someone who will accept us for who we are. A good friend might also be someone that we don't see very often, but somehow are able to just pick up where we left off, even if it's been, several years or even maybe decades since the last time you saw each other. Regardless how each of us define what a good friend is for ourselves, I think it's safe to say that that friend is someone who influences us, both consciously and unconsciously. Thus, being aware of what kind of company we are keeping in our lives, I think is very important. So, according to Buddha, what kind of friends or companions should we keep in our lives? Buddha teaches that in life, one may have companions who are good and wise, one may have companions who are foolish, or somebody may not have any companions and may walk through life alone. So which type of companion should we keep in our life? I'm sure that you can guess that the Buddha is encouraging us to have good and wise companions in our life. But what is a good and wise companion? And why is it so important that we make sure we have a good and wise companion in our life? So in the context of Buddhism, in the context of Buddha's teachings, one who is good and wise is someone who truly practices the Dharma and is cleansed of a defiled and foolish mind. So a foolish mind is in contrast to a wise mind, right? So based on this understanding of a good and wise companion, I'm sure that we might all say that it's really difficult for us to find a truly good and wise friend. So as I just mentioned, contrastingly, one who is a fool is the opposite of wise, right? It is someone who creates roots of evil and knows nothing of the Dharma. As Venerable Shinran clarifies in his teachings, we in this age are living in a world full of people and things that are full of roots of evil and foolishness. The three poisons of selfish desires, selfish aversions, and delusion are abound in myself and in the world. So inevitably, from a Buddhist context, our everyday friends and companions most likely fit into the foolish category. But please don't go and tell your friends that I said that they were foolish. That is not the point of this message, okay? Because in the same vein, I know that I am being a foolish friend to my friends as well. And just on a side note, I really love Star Wars, and one of my favorite lines from Star Wars is delivered by Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he said, "Who is more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows them?" So that's how I feel about myself. So, but getting back to the larger context of the message, so what is wrong with having foolish people as our companions if this is the world we live in, right? As I mentioned earlier, we are influenced by our friends and companions, both consciously and unconsciously. And one of the fundamental teachings of Buddhism is that everything arises from causes and conditions. Nothing happens in a vacuum. So whatever direction that we are walking in life is not only due to, only personal choices, but also external conditions which we may or may not be able to control, such as the company we keep. So I would like to share a Buddhist story. This is the story of Angulimala. So Angulimala was a infamous murderer during the time of Shakyamuni Buddha. He was someone who lurked in the forest and would maim and murder passerbys in order to collect their fingers. So he was trying to collect a necklace, trying to collect 1,000 fingers to make a necklace out of fingers. So everybody in the nearby villages all saw him as an evil person who should be avoided. So when Shakyamuni Buddha came to visit their area, everyone warned Shakyamuni Buddha, don't go there. There's an evil person there. He's going to try to attack you and cut off your hands. But of course, Buddha, being Buddha, was able, even though he went through the forest, he was able to engage with Angulimala and guide him towards a change of heart. Angulimala, upon encountering Buddha and his teachings, entered the stream of Buddhism and became a disciple of Buddha. Now, we today might be able to sit here and say, wow, who does that? Goes around, cuts, kills people just for their fingers. Angulimala sounds like a really bad dude, because this is kind of crazy, right? But the backstory of Angulimala, it is told, is that he was once a very good and bright student. And he was considered like a teacher's pet at the school that he attended. And because of this, Angulimala's classmates were very jealous of him. And so they began to spread lies about him, and even was able to turn the teacher against him. And so the teacher didn't want Angulimala at his school anymore. So in order to try to get rid of Angulimala, the teacher told him that if he wanted to complete his studies, he needed to give a payment to him of a necklace of 1,000 fingers. The teacher, of course, did not anticipate that Angulimala would actually try to do this, because this is such a crazy idea. But Angulimala really wanted to complete his studies because he was a devout student. So he set out to gather what was needed for his payment to his teacher. And thus he set out on this wrong path. So this was the result of Angulimala being in the company of foolish people. And it was not until Angulimala encountered a truly good and wise person, the Buddha, that he was able to understand and discern what kind of actions were foolish and what kind of actions were wise. So I think it is important for us to understand that as a good and wise person, Shakyamuni Buddha did not forsake Angulimala the way others did. Others wrote off Angulimala as a monster who should be avoided. But Buddha understood that Angulimala's suffering was so bad inside his own heart that he had to try to, he was starting to take it out on others. So as such, Buddha knew that Angulimala's heart could be transformed by the influence of the Buddha Dharma. After Angulimala joined Buddha's order, there were many people, of course, who still had trouble accepting his turn of heart, knowing the atrocities that he had committed. But even though others may have turned their back on Angulimala, Shakyamuni Buddha never turned his back on Angulimala. He still guided him in the Dharma, treating him as a true disciple and companion in the Dharma. So from this story, I hope we can get a sense of why it is important for us to be aware of the type of company that we keep in our lives, and why it is important for us to be able to discern wise from foolish company. But how can we do this if Venerable Shinran is teaching, teaching is true, that we, in this age, are living in a world full of roots of evil and full of foolish people, such as myself? It is because of someone like me that lives in a world of this condition that Bodhisattva Dharmakara established and fulfilled the fundamental vow to become Namo Amida Butsu. That is the compassionate light of wisdom, reaching out to rescue all beings from samsara, all beings from the realm of suffering. So through its calling activity, Namo Amida Butsu is a good and wise friend constantly saying to us, come, be my friend. Take refuge in me. I will be a good and wise companion in your life. I will be your companion in the Dharma. So Namo Amida Buddha truly wants to be a good and wise companion for us, all of us, and wishes for us to join the path that will carry each of us out of samsara, out of the realm of suffering. And when we are able to hear this sincere wish and vow of Namo Amida Buddha and find truth in the Dharma for ourselves, Namo Amida Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, all the Buddhas of the 10 directions, all praise us for being able to discern that which is wise and good. Good job. You figured out what kind of company that you should have in your life. As I've mentioned in our reflection sessions, if you've attended, our being praised by the Buddha is not idolatry, and it's not meant to give us an ego boost, say, yeah, I'm a good person, I did it. But it is a praise of encouragement. Like I just said, way to go, you did it. You're able to at least acknowledge something that is good. We can walk together now. We can walk together on this path of the Dharma. Just as a coach might praise and give encouragement to a new young player to help them along, or as a friend would do for another good friend, so does the Buddha give us encouragement. Good job recognizing the virtues of the Dharma. Good job wanting to transcend suffering. Let us continue to listen and practice the Dharma together. Through walking the journey of our life in accord with the true, good, and wise companions in the Dharma, in our case, Namo Amida Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, and Venerable Shinran, no matter how many foolish companions we may keep, we will always have these good friends in the Dharma helping us to not fall down onto the wrong path. And if and when we will probably inevitably fall down the wrong path due to our own foolishness and the conditions of the world, even if others in our community, in my community, cannot accept me or my actions for whatever reason, just like the relationship between Buddha and Angulimala, these good friends in the Dharma will not forsake us. They will treat us as their true companion, sharing their wisdom and compassion, wishing for us to be inspired and guided by them, getting back in the right direction towards the realm of truth and reality, and away from the realm of suffering. So I hope that as we continue to listen to the Buddha Dharma and the teaching of Namo Amida Buddha as not just individuals, but also as a collective Sangha, we can realize that all of us following this teaching, all of us here are all companions in the Dharma as well, walking this Nembutsu path in the realm of suffering and foolishness together. The age of the internet with COVID and Zoom has introduced to us a new way to gather, right? We are all in different geographical locations. Some of us are physically here, some of us are on the East Coast, some of us are in the middle of the Pacific Ocean on an island, but we are all coming together in the same time, right? Listening to the same teaching. It may be difficult for all of us to feel connected with each other since we are all far away from each other, but we are all companions traveling together, trying to navigate our lives and this realm of suffering. So as foolish companions together, let us all be inspired and guided by the good and wise companions in the Dharma, Venerable Shinran, Shakyamuni Buddha, Namo Amida Buddha. Let us all practice having hearts and minds of reverence and indebtedness to these wise companions for treating us as their companions and sharing the great wisdom and compassion with us. And we do this practice by continuing to listen to and recite Namo Amida Butsu. I would like to thank all of you very much for attending our Dharma service today at West Los Angeles Buddhist Temple. Thank you to all of you for allowing me to share my understanding and appreciation of the wisdom and compassion of Namo Amida Buddha today. I would now like to invite you to put your hands together in reverence as I reread the words written by Venerable Shinran. Because they are in reverence and greatly rejoice in the Dharma, people who realize Shinjin of other power are my true companions. Such is the praise of the world-honored one, the master of the teaching. Namandats, 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 namandats.
Thank you, Reverend Umezu, for your message today on companionship and the Dharma. We will now have the reading of Ryogemon.
Ryogemon. We rely upon Amida Buddha with our whole heart for the enlightenment in the life to come, abstaining from all sundry practices and teachings, and giving up the trust in our imperfect view. There is no doubt that the assurance of enlightenment comes at the very moment we entrust and we recite the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, in joy and gratitude for the Buddha's compassion. We also acknowledge gratefully the benign benevolence of our founder and succeeding masters who have led us to live in this profound teaching. And we do now endeavor to follow throughout our lives the way laid down for us. Ryoge Shutsugon. もろもろの造業雑種自力の心を振り捨てて、一心に阿弥陀如来我らが今度の一大事の御所、御助け総来と頼み申して候。頼む一年の時、往生一条御助け事情と存じ、この上の称名は合能者と存じ、喜び申し候。この御断り、弔問申し訳候こと、ご解散承認ご出世の言、次第僧正の前時式の朝からざるご関係のご恩等、ありがたく存じ候。この上は定めを課せられるおのきて、一号限り守り申すべく候。Namandats, namandats, 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 namandats.
Now we will have some announcements. The first one is the Shoshin Nembutsuge class on Wednesday at 7 p.m. The topic on June 15th will be Can Evil Person Attain Enlightenment? Next, a Shoshin Nembutsuge class on June 11th will be Can You Hear the Teaching Without Any Doubts? This is on Saturday at 11 a.m. Next, the Basic Teaching of Buddhism, 2 classes, June 16th and 23rd from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., led by Reverend Furumoto. The West LA Buddhist Temple will have a yard sale on Saturday, June 18th, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. in the temple parking lot. So please come, buy stuff. There will be yoga at the temple, gentle yoga class every second and fourth Monday from 7 to 8 p.m. And also want to mention this. We have before that, mention t-shirts. We have plenty of West LA t-shirts for sale. Shirts are $20 each, and we offer either a crew neck or V-neck design. Show your pride and help support our temple. Okay. Next, an announcement. We will have Hatsubon Dharma service for the first Obon July 23rd, 5 p.m. Saturday. Our guest speaker will be Brian Nagata, who is Director of Education Programs at BDK America. And then the day after that, on Sunday, July 24th, there will be a Obon Dharma service, Gathering of Joy, Sunday at 10 a.m., July 24th, followed by Obon service at the Nokotsudo. Our guest speaker will be Brian Nagata, again, Director of Education Programs, BDK America. As a reminder, we invite you to join us for our social hour before services from 9:30 to 10 to give you the opportunity to chit-chat with Dharma friends you haven't been able to see in person and to introduce yourself if you are new. Also, if you would like to join our Dharma services in person, please register online at WLABT.org or call the temple office. Proof of vaccination and masks are still required. This concludes our service for today. We will take a 5-minute break and be back with a Dharma reflection session. Thank you.